What's up guys, my name is Matthew, and today I'm going to be recommending you thriller books with some of my favorite, some of the best thriller twists of all time. Alright, so I went through my Goodreads, I went through my shelves, and I wanted to make a video where I tell you my favorite thriller twists. This doesn't mean that these books are my favorite thriller books of all time, but I think the twists are so mind-blowing that the twists themselves made them either a 4 or 5 star book, in my opinion. The first book I'm gonna recommend to you, I just finished it like last week. It's gonna be in my top 5 favorite thrillers of 2022. I already know it. It was fantastic, and that is Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews. This is a debut book by this author, and I devoured it. I loved it. What I think is crucial in order for a thriller book to succeed in twisting, blowing your mind, you need to know very little going in. So I'm gonna give you brief synopsis of these books, but not really go into them. I'm gonna tell you why I like them, but be a little vague because I don't wanna spoil it. I think that what's crucial for these books is that you don't know much going in, and you just trust me and believe me when I tell you your mind will be blown. All right, so this book, do not read, I'm gonna say this about a million times, do not read the flap on the inside of the book, because the flap on the inside of the book spoils a little bit more than the first half of the book. The first 3/4 of this book does not read like a thriller. It reads just like, I guess, a contemporary where you wouldn't know thriller things are happening unless I tell you. Now, the last fourth of this book, like thrilling, mind-blowing, I loved it. And another reason I love this book is because it's only 310 pages. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I don't like wordy thrillers. I want my thrillers between 300 and 350 pages or less. I want to be succinct, to the point, and I want you to blow my mind. And this book did it. All I'm going to tell you about this book, because I'm like speaking in circles right now, is that this is about an author named Maud Dixon. And we follow a protagonist who gets the opportunity to be Maud Dixon's assistant. And that's all you need to know. That's all I want you to know going in. And it's going to be a journey. So once you get to the part where it starts getting thrilling, you as the reader will start to put pieces together before the protagonist, and you're gonna be like, oh fuck. Like, you're gonna be like, run girl, you are in danger. Run, you are in danger. It is so fun, so twisty. I didn't see it coming. I don't know, maybe some people would think that this book is obvious of what's going on. I had no idea what was coming, and half of the book was spoiled for me from the blurb. Trust me, just pick this up knowing nothing, and I promise that ending is just gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be so fulfilling, so satisfying. And yes, Who is Maud Dixon? Who is Maud Dixon has enough twists and turns, really good ones, to make you dizzy for a week, dizzy with joy. By the end of the book, you'll start wondering if author Alexandra Andrews might be a murderer herself. And that's literally what I was thinking. I was like, wait, is this like did this really happen? Like, cause I don't know, there's something about this book where I felt it was believable. Like, it was shocking and twisting, but at the same time, I'm like, is Alexandra Andrews a murderer? That's how I felt about this book. Trust me, the thrills are worth it. If you have not read this book, it's worth the hype. Definitely pick this one up. The next book that had a twist that just completely blew my mind, and for some of you, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you won't be shocked by this, and it is The Brightlands by Fram. This is what I call a gay thriller. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I do some gay thriller vlogs where I try to read books that are surrounded by gay characters and they're classified as thrillers. This is the book that set me off on that journey. The twist in this book, you guys, my jaw was on the ground. I was cackling with laughter. I know, a thriller with the twist was making me laugh. I've never felt like that reading a book. If you're a gay man, you have to read this book. Just trust me. Or if you're not a gay man, if anyone will read this book, and when the twist happens, you're gonna literally go, what the fuck am I reading? And if you don't go, what the fuck am I reading? I'm gonna be shocked, because it is so shocking. You think this book is going in one direction, and then the twist happens, and you're just like, oh, this is like really gay. But this book is about a guy named, what's his name again? His name is Joel Whitley. It's been a while since I read this book. He grew up in this conservative Texas town. He moved away to New York, get out of that town that he was stuck in. He comes back in town and his little brother goes missing, and the book kind of follows trying to figure out what happened to his little brother, learning about the secrets of this little town, and it is a journey. This is one of the few exceptions where a thriller is a little bit longer. This is 460 pages around, and I will let this book slide on being a little long because I absolutely loved it. Another thing that I don't normally like about books is that there's I love psychological stuff. Paranormal, that is the word I'm looking for. Stuff that happens at the end. It's very minuscule. I personally didn't think it was necessary, but it's like it symbolizes things and whatever, you know. I don't think the paranormal was needed because this book was so good. If you're reading this book, because there's a lot of twists, if you're reading this book and you're like, wait, is that the twist Matthew's talking about? If you have to question whether you've come to the part where if the twist I'm talking about, you are not at the twist. When you come to the twist, you will be like shocked and just, what am I reading? What is happening? What is life? Am I overselling it? Maybe, but that's how much fun I had with this book. If you have not read this book, please read it and let me know if you were as shocked and blown away by the twist and just like loved it. If you love this, everyone loves this book. It's so fun, it's so fun. All right, so the next thriller I want to recommend to you that just has a twist that will blow your mind is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is a book about a girl and a guy who work together. And the guy is really mean to the girl, and the girl just really doesn't like the guy. And you're gonna be absolutely blown away and shocked by how this book ends. Like, girl, boy working together, they don't like each other. You, like, when you get to that ending, when you realize what's happening, you will be blown away. Trust me, they actually just came out with a movie, and I'm gonna warn you, the movie is really thrilling and really scary and just not for everyone. So go into that movie, it's just really graphic, and go into it with caution because I don't wanna set anybody off, because this book is twisty, thrilling, and when you realize what happens between the girl and the guy, you're gonna be like, oh my God, what am I reading? I really hope someone comments and tells me that The Hating Game is not a thriller. It will literally make my day. Anyway, Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough is the next book I'm gonna recommend to you. This is another book with some paranormal elements, not some, a lot of paranormal elements, and I normally hate that in thrillers, but if it's done right, it's done right. And this book is done right. This is about a woman named Louise who meets the guy at a bar, and when she meets the guy at the bar, you know, they have I believe a one-night stand. I don't even know if they home together. It's been so long since I read this book. Whatever, they meet at the bar, they do some kissy-kissy. The next day, she goes to work and realizes the guy at the bar is her boss. This sounds like the opening scene of Grey's Anatomy. It's actually a thriller. I'm not joking with this one. So that's all you need to know. After she realizes, like, oh no, I just kissy-kissed with my boss, she starts befriending the boss's wife. Just go into this book knowing that it's just wacky, it's paranormal. When I got to the last chapter, I can't begin to explain to you. It's almost like the Bright Lands where I was just giddy with how just satisfied I was with the twist. Up to the last chapter, I would probably go to 4-star. The last chapter bumped it up to a 5-star. I just loved it. This book is mind-blowing. I don't even remember all the twists. I just remember that last chapter and being very, very shocked and satisfied. There's paranormal elements. So yeah, I'm not gonna tell you much more. Just know that it's paranormal, it's shocking, you will not guess the ending, I promise, and you will be shocked. Behind Her Eyes. She also just came out with a book called Insomnia, like a couple days ago, or it's coming out, and I need to read that one. But yes, this is the next book I definitely want you to read if you're looking for a shocking thriller twist. All right, the next book I'm gonna recommend to you, most of you have probably already either read it or heard about it, and that is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. Riley Sager does a fantastic job most of the time with giving you just a very satisfying twist. I went back and forth deciding, which book I wanted to pick for this video. And while it's not my favorite out of all of Riley Sager's books, I do think the twist in this one is so shocking and I did not guess it. I did have a friend who texted me while she was reading it and she was like, oh, is this what's going on? And I'm like, how did you know that? But I will say, I think most people will not be able to guess what's going on in this book. The twist for me was very shocking. It's about a girl named Jules who gets a job like apartment sitting at this really old New York apartment called the Bartholomew. And when she gets to the Bartholomew and moves in, weird shit starts happening. Things don't feel right. The girl before her who was watching the apartment, they can't find her. So you're just kind of on edge the entire book, not really realizing what's going on. Why is it so eerie? Is this apartment haunted? All those questions. And then when you get to the end, the twist, it will all make sense. It is very satisfying. Is it believable? I mean, no, but most thrillers with twists are not believable. But I just thoroughly enjoyed this one. Most of you probably read it. If you haven't, it is worth the hype. And it's one of those I always recommend to friends who are trying to get into thrillers. I usually have them start with either this one or Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, because I think it just has such a satisfying twist when you're reading a thriller and you come to the ending and you just feel satisfied. You're like, oh, I just read 300 pages and the author shocked me. And I just love being shocked, and that's why we read thrillers. And I think this one is one of those that will shock most of you. The next book I'm going to recommend to you is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. I'm going to be very cautious with what I tell you about this book because it's very easy to spoil and it's very difficult to talk about and not spoil it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the inside cover to you because I think it does a good job of getting you interested in the book without really telling you what's going on. In a boarded-up house on a dead-end street at the edge of a wild Washington woods lies a family of three. A teenage girl who isn't allowed outside, not after last time. A man who drinks alone in front of the TV, trying to ignore the gaps in his memory. And a house cat who loves napping and reading the Bible. Yes, so it's following those three characters, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. I will say, reading this book is so disorienting, and I really didn't have a good time reading it. So the first 200 pages, you're not gonna know what's going on, and it's actually very frustrating because you think that like it's all just written poorly and it's just all gobbled together. I'm not explaining this really well, but it's just a very disorienting book. It's intentional. And when you get to the twist, when you realize what's going on, you're gonna be like, oh wow, like that was really well done. This is one of those books where I gave 4 stars to because I didn't have fun reading it, but the twist was so good that it made up for like my horrible time of being disoriented. Go into it knowing that you're not gonna know what the hell the author's talking about or what's going on between these characters, but there will be a twist and you will understand and you will be like, wow, that was really well done. Like what this author accomplishes in this book is very applaudable. It's very well done and very good, and I do recommend it for the twist alone. I also feel like I'm speaking really fast. I promise I'm not on drugs. I just took my pre-workout, so I'm like, All right, we have 2 more. The next book I'm gonna recommend to you, I had to pick one Agatha Christie book because Agatha Christie is very good at giving you those twists at the end. I know a lot of you don't like Agatha Christie. If you don't like Agatha Christie, I think you should try listening to her on audiobook because most of it is narrated by Hugh Fraser. I think that's his name. I could be mixing up celebrities again. I tend to do that in my videos. But the one I'm gonna recommend to you is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd because I think this book gave us the twist that is at the heart of most thrillers that come out today. I feel very strongly that this book is, I don't want to give too much away, but this book is just, the twist in this book, I read it when I was in like 7th grade, and I just remember being like, oh, she broke all the rules, and I just love it. This book, I'm not gonna tell you much, it's about the murder of Roger Ackroyd. It's about a man who gets murdered, and one of Agatha Christie's famous detectives, Hercule Poirot, goes in to try to solve the whodunit of this. It's very locked room, closed room mystery. You won't guess what's coming. Maybe you will guess what's coming because I'm building it up, and you'll start to think out of the box. But this book is so shocking, and this is the reason why we have thrillers that are so good today. So if you're reading one Agatha Christie book, this is probably the one I want to recommend to you because I just love the twist. The twist is so satisfying, and it's not one you're likely gonna guess, and it's like the reason why we have a lot of the thrillers we have today. Am I giving too much to Agatha Christie? Maybe, but I love this book. The next book I'm gonna recommend to you for a really good twist, a book that's really well done and you likely won't guess the ending to, is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors. This is one of my favorite thrillers of 2021. This book is about a man named Adam and a woman named Amelia who are married, and their marriage is just not going so well. Another domestic thriller. I know, but this one's well done. And they win this trip to like the Scotland woods or the mountains, and they go on vacation, try to revamp their marriage. When they get there, the Airbnb that they're staying where they won the trip is kind of like this abandoned church that they got renovated into an Airbnb situation. So we're getting this really eerie, creepy old church that they're staying in. And then we're also getting chapters that are letters written from the wife to the husband, kind of talking about their marriage, what led up to why their marriage isn't happy. And the twist in this book is so satisfying. It comes together nicely. It will likely shock you because the author does a good job at tricking you. Or maybe, I don't know, is that a spoiler? But yeah, don't trust everything you read because that's what we love about thrillers. This book was so shocking. I loved it. What I liked most about it is the twist. I guess some of the twists, because there's multiple twists. The main twist, I think I did guess, but it's so satisfying. And the only reason I guessed it is because I read a book similar to this right before this book. So I had that twist fresh on my mind. But yeah, Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors for a good twist where you likely won't see coming. So those are the thrillers with the best twist I'm gonna recommend to you. I'm keeping this video short, mostly because I don't wanna edit it, but those are the ones that I think you should really read if you have not read it. If you are a fan of thrillers, or if you're someone who's just trying to get into thrillers, these will get you wanting more thrillers, being very shocked with the ending, and I think this is a good place to start or continue reading with thrillers if you haven't read all of them. Let me know if you've read any of these and you agree with me, disagree, and let me know if you have any recommendations with the really good thriller twists, and I will see you guys in another video soon.